suspect you're probably the only one in the House today who would remember Professor Sumner Miller asking the question as he sold chocolate, why is it so? Why is it so? And it's a question, exactly, I'm not doing that voice though, and it's a question that I'm asking today. Why is it so? Why do we have a mass fish kill in the Gulf of St Vincent in South Australia? Why is the environment suffering? Labor's track record on the environment is merely virtue signalling, knee-jerk reactions and posturing when the evidence is plain to see, rotting away on the Adelaide and regional South Australian beaches and ruining the local fishing industry, as the Minister pointed out. Shadow Minister pointed out. Let's face it, Labor are motivated by politics, not outcomes. When you want to see the fruit of Labor's approach to the environment, it smells suspiciously like rotting fish. Let me take you upstream from the Murray Mouth, which was gushing a couple of years ago with nutrient-rich floodwaters, which some say was a major contributor to the algal bloom event in the Gulf of St Vincent. A flood, I might say, that the experts said would never happen on that scale again. And based on that metric, Labor have been buying back water from the Murray-Darling Basin from our food producers and now have more water than they know what to do with. Up in the Murray-Darling Basin through Gunawarra, Loddon and Northern Grampian Shires, we have a different environmental threat. Labor's rampage towards political targets, I emphasise political, not environmental targets, in the name of net zero. In the name of saving the planet, Labor are throwing the environment under a bus. We've seen throughout my electorate, you may laugh on the opposite side of the chamber, but the people in my electorate are absolutely not laughing. We've seen throughout my electorate and elsewhere in regional Australia, farmers and local landowners, Indigenous people and local communities speaking up about the environmental devastation and scarring of the landscape due to wind turbines, transmission lines, blanket solar panels and flammable battery projects, all in the name of net zero. Watch the Environment Minister's approach to the Port of Hastings' so-called Victorian Renewable Energy Terminal. In my home state of Victoria, the Allan Labor government are so hell-bent on their political net zero targets and insistent on ignoring voices of common sense, even those within their own tent. They want offshore wind, but they can't get it. I emphasise and remind the House Victorian Labor's goal, if they cannot get offshore wind, is to take up to 70% of Victoria's prime agricultural land to create an industrial wasteland of transmission lines, turbines and panels, all to save the planet. Mallee community members have come to me distressed about the destruction of their local environment and the risk posed to local threatened or endangered species by Labor's reckless energy plans. Interesting that when the consequences of Labor's bad policy starts washing up on the beaches of a capital city, suddenly the media take notice. Well, kudos to Sky News, Peter Credlin, Chris Kenny, the Institute of Public Affairs, Daily Telegraph and others who are giving our farmers, our landowners and communities a face and a voice in metropolitan media. And I want to finish with 92-year-old Ellen Shepherd from Horsham, who wrote to me overnight, having seen me on Kenny. She said, net zero is tearing families apart, it's tearing neighbours apart, destroying our wonderful farming community and land, and in some states turning huge swathes of bushland into dust bowls for hundreds of kilometres. The city slickers, especially those of the Teal brand, don't know and don't care about the severity of these issues throughout this vast land. They live in a cloud cuckoo land and get a few more thousand if they require it from their money man Simon Holmes a court, as he did for one particular independent at the Tasmanian election, I noticed. She goes on, I listened to Ken Henry at the National Press Club. The hypocrisy in some of these speeches takes my breath away. He adores koalas but doesn't see how they are affected in their habitat by the screaming bulldozers tearing their very living away from their lives in many parts.
Give the call to the member for Richmond.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and can I start by congratulating you on your